So I'm back at my friend's house to put this movement back into this grandpa clock case, and I just want to show you part of the reason why it wasn't working is because the pendulum leader here, the curved part, was touching the crutch assembly, and I think they put it on backwards, plus it was bent. The pendulum leader assembly here was bent, and so it was touching this section of the crutch assembly, which was preventing it from ticking. But this section here was bent. So if you are trying to figure out why your clock's not working, you might want to check this assembly right here. It needs to be free. It needs to be able to move up and down like so. And the suspension spring, which is this part right here, it's got two metal connectors on it. A lot of times one of those metal connectors break. They're kind of cheaply assembled. They're only press fit on, and this one is plastic. The others are metal, top block and bottom block. This being the block, and the top block is what goes into the post that has a screw on it to keep it in. But you know, my YouTube videos didn't mention all this stuff, so they wouldn't have been able to figure it out unless they know a little bit about clocks. These part right here is what hold the movement in the case. They screw into this bottom post here, one on each side, and so that's what I'm doing now. I've got temporary wires in place, and I'm gonna add different wires to it, but we'll get back since I put this back in the case. Particular movement's got these brackets on it, which a screw fits in that bracket, and then, well, this goes through here, and then it screws into that bracket. This is the seatboard that the chain goes down into, and as you can see, I marked it. That way I know how to put the movement back in. And I'm hoping I can put the dial on after I got this movement on. The dial has got 4 posts that tapered, it goes into holes on the movement, and then tapered pins hold the dial in place. I'm hoping I could do that. I should be able to do that. But these screws here, you line the movement up, that way the hammers strike the gongs, and then you put the screw in and tighten it up. There's these cutaway slots, and that's for this metal piece. It goes in like so, and then it screws into the bottom post. I've already did this one. Now I have to do this one over here. And if you try to do it this way, it won't fit because it ain't long enough. See, it doesn't go through the board. So if you do it this way, it's long enough. And that's how they designed it. When you go to put the weights on, before you let go of the weight, keeping pressure on the chain, ratchet it to make sure that the chain is still on the ratchet wheel. Or if you don't, your weight's going to hit the bottom of the case and you might break the bottom of the case. And without the pendulum on, you can see the virgin crutch assembly is moving back and forth. But when I touched it, it stopped. So it might need to be adjusted. And like I said, this thing's got a slip clutch on it. So you'd want to adjust it so when you touch it, it continues ticking. However, depending on the level of the floor and all that, it might be wiser to go ahead and put the pendulum on and then put it in beat. I got the weights on, but as you can see, I didn't wind them all the way up because I told you I'm hoping to put the dial on without having to take the movement back out. I think I can, but in case I can't, I didn't wind the weights all the way up. And I was wanting to test this clock. It seems to be in beat, but I'm going to test it with the proper hand. It just got through striking a quarter of an hour there, so the last time I tested it, so this should be the half hour. And you can see the last rod didn't play, and that's where you adjust it. So this would be the 3/4 of the hour. And that first rod, this rod back here, it's not hitting that loud, so I'm going to bend it in some. Have phone issues. I can barely walk and chew gum today. This is the hour. You can see the rack drop. Now it's going to strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I need to know where to put the hands when I put the dial on. But it's still ticking away, it's chiming, it's striking, so now it's time to put the dial on. With this type of hand, if it doesn't go off exactly where you want it to, the hand is actually adjustable. You would take it off, there's a bushing in the back of the hand, and the easiest way to do it is put a screwdriver in the slot and then turn the hand a little bit and then put it back on and see where the hand is, and you adjust it that way. But as you can see, the hand is 30 seconds off, so I'm going to have to adjust it. And it's best to stop the pendulum when you adjust your hand, because if it takes you a couple minutes to adjust the hand and you put it back on, well, it's going to be off. And if you don't have a screwdriver with you that will fit in that slot, which I don't, very carefully, if you take a pair of pliers and grab a hold of that bushing and then rotate the hand. But you don't want to get in the habit of that, because you'll scar up the bushing and make it loose. Adjusted the hands, and now you can see it's going off right where I want it to go off. And when you're setting the hands on a clock like this, I highly suggest that you wait for the chime before you advance the hand. Yeah, it's slow, but if you get in the habit of turning hands too fast, it could mess up the strike and chime system, is what I'm getting at. This clock is a Ridgeway with an Urgos movement in it. The Tempus Fugit means time flies. A lot of people put that on their dials or cases or whatever. It's got a beautiful strike to it, and chimes.
Husband, or father.
Anyway, the clock is up and running, and I think they'll be happy with it. It's a beautiful clock. For 50 bucks, I would have bought it. And I've got 14 grandfather clocks in my house. I don't need another one.